It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
It is showtime. What's happening, everybody? Are you ready? It's gonna be a great show. Every show is a great show. Thursday, Halloween Eve. Let's see. So that means it's the eve of my baby sister's birthday, and the eve of my baby girl's birthday, Allie's birthday. Monday through Friday, the Geno Jones Show. Programming, no live show Monday. My radio station, my day job, we got a big event happening on Monday. They have a big fair here called the Coastal Carolina Fair, and Monday night we're calling it Southern Soul Night, which is huge now across America. Really, Southern Soul is just R&B, just regional R&B, but now it's nationwide. It's sounds. It's like it's got like R&B blues vibe, just in case. But everybody, where them fans at, and put your boots on the ground. That whole craze. It's been going on down here for a while here in the South. So no live show Monday, November 3rd. We will be back Tuesday, November 4th. Tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show channel. Brought to you by CojoLLC.com. That's CojoLLC.com. Courtney Johnson, she is back. Yes, Courtney's Corner is back. You'll see her and our guest on camera shortly. I thought she had ditched the brother. No, she was just a little under the weather, just busy entrepreneur. So we're gonna speak to that's going to be a part of Courtney's Corner. I'll let you tell her about it, but it's showcasing two dynamic, brilliant black women entrepreneurs, very successful in the insurance industry, and how they have navigated these treacherous, crazy waters with the racism and the misogyny and the sexism and the cruelty and the inhumanity. And it's been very tough. Probably close to 400,000 black women have lost their jobs. They can speak to that even better than I can, and they will. So shout out to Courtney Johnson, sponsor of the Geno Jones Show, CojoLLC.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Carolinas, South Carolina or North Carolina, you can go to her website, CojoLLC.com. Courtney, that's CojoLLC.com, or you can call her. Say, hey, Courtney, I was watching the Geno Jones Show. I'm looking to buy or sell a home, starter home, first home, dream home, last home, home to rent out for somebody to try to get a little income, whatever that is, she's got you. You can call her also, 843 area code 543-4022. So 843-543-4022. You'll see on camera shortly. So listen, Friday, even though it's going to be Halloween, and we always have, it's like usually Funny Friday, but there's nothing funny about 42 million people going hungry. So I'm going to take a deep dive. Really, it'll be a continuation of really what I've been talking about for a while now. But I'm just going to make it clear. If you stand not to get your EBT card refreshed, every month those that get SNAP benefits, it is supplemental nutritional assistance program. This old school, it was called food stamps. They had the little booklet, with the different colors, rainbow colors, and that whole deal. So now, instead of this little booklet, look like a little bootleg money, it's on the card. Everything's on a card now. They call it an EBT card. Of course, this one's, even if you're not on SNAP, you're familiar with it. And it's every month they basically put money on the card. The average is about $188. 42 million Americans. 40% of those are children, like 16 million. So we're going to go down the list, not to mention health insurance premiums for Obamacare about to skyrocket. I've been talking about that. So, and I will let you know who to blame. And so, because there's been a lot of lies, but on this show, we tell the truth, shame the devil, like my grandmother Jean Jones taught me. Said, Jeannie, tell the truth, shame the devil. So that's what we do. All right. 'Cause people lie. Propaganda, which is a fancy word for lying bullshit. So it's propaganda. That means that's bullshit. That's a lie. But I want to make sure that everybody is clear who is responsible for this and who can change it. Because the people who currently have the political power, the cult that has political power can change this if they want to, but they don't, because the cruelty and the chaos and the confusion and fear is all part of the plan. So I digress. So I have been honored to have this sister on. As Courtney's Corner, we created this feature a couple months ago now. And this is brilliant. We've had some great episodes. She's an entrepreneur, along with her guest. They are long time. Now, she's going to update the story, but from the intel, my lead in was that they have been like lifelong, not just friends, but worked together in business, and they've joined forces like the Wonder Twins and doing some dynamic things and been able to navigate, like I said, the crazy waters that we are walking in and wading in this country, especially for black people, specifically for black women that have had to navigate. Well, really, they've had to navigate. We as black Americans, we as people of the African diaspora had to navigate the racism, the anti-blackness, which is global, and unfortunately this anti-blackness was indoctrinated to folks that look like us. I've done that monologue many, many times, many days and many nights. But for black women, they got to navigate all the misogyny, sexism, and then they got to navigate the racism with the misogyny and sexism. And these sisters, let me phrase it this way. It's not that they have done it well, they are doing it well. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, there she is. There's that $1 million smile. You see the big logo in the back, Courtney's Corner,
right.
with
see it.
A special guest, and I'm going to, since it's Courtney's Corner, so welcome back, and I want you to introduce our guest. Welcome to the show, and just tell everybody, you guys got a wonderful, wonderful story.
You do.
But the lead-in, basically, I want you ladies to speak to what it's been like to navigate the climate that we're living in, and not only have you all obviously survived, but you're thriving along with surviving, and share your story, and I'm sure it'll be an inspiration to many watching, and maybe some tips on how to navigate not just where we are, where we are, but where we're going. So welcome back, Courtney, my sister.
Thank you for having me back. I'm glad to be back. I missed it. I'm glad to be back. Now, Geno, I know I told you the intro for Trish. I know I said, what did I say? I said, Trish is my peanut butter and jelly. And that's how we're known, peanut butter and jelly of the insurance industry. We said we were trying to make this go viral. And I told you that's how to introduce Trish. But I'm so excited to have Trish.
Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, now since she came for me, Trish, now I'm going to get her back. See, now... some people, you give them an inch, they gonna take a mile. Now, now, and Courtney knows how we do it. Yep. It's Courtney's Corner. So I'm trying to leave some room because one of my rules is nobody can tell your story better than you.
This is true.
Why have me try to do a bootleg version of telling that story? Stay out the way. But no, does she micromanage you too? I know y'all work together. See,
no.
I know she's feeling better and comfortable now, because now she gonna cope. She wanna not just cope, she wanna executive produce the show. No.
That's what
we're not
Courtney
doing that. We got love for you, but no, I want you because it's a compelling story, and like I said, I think you would do it more justice than me. So you didn't like the intro? I thought the intro was great. I big up you all and.
You did a fantastic job, but you forgot the peanut butter and jelly of the insurance world.
That was your job.
Okay,
Remember,
all right, well.
I'm the executive producer.
Well,
I am doing that, Trish. sometimes we just gotta,
Look,
it's
hey,
like we
we said we
gotta
were going to have these conversations. We
redefine
said
our
they were going to
roles
be
here
real.
on the
Love it.
We said there were going to be real conversations, real discussions. And
Yes,
so
yes.
I had to
No,
bring
but
on my
Love
real
the
best
real.
friend, which is Trish Payne. So, Trish, I'm so excited to have you on. I'm so excited for you to be here. Take a moment to introduce yourself, and, definitely let everyone know who you are and how we know each other.
Oh my gosh. So that's like a loaded question. So excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm just excited to be able to continue to support my girl and all the things that she's doing. And we've been tied to the hip for I don't know how many years now, but we share in all of the same things when you think about passion and you think about, purpose and just purpose driven in all of the things. And I think that's kind of how the universe really aligned us, right? Like when you think through all of the, I don't know, projects and all the things. So we met at work,
Mhm.
but literally when I think about just the connection that we have, it was like instant,
yeah,
right? And definitely sisters in all of the things. And we aligned ourselves on a lot of the same kind of missions, the values, and since then we have just developed an amazing sisterhood. And we have such a unique story and a journey that we love to tell our story because we
Yeah.
feel like, when you think about an environment where Black women in particular need to make sure that we continue to support one another, find opportunities to really elevate one another, right? This whole idea of competition between women in our eyes is nonsense. We look for every single opportunity where we can lift each other up and amplify what each other is doing. There's more than enough room out here for everyone. And I think folks get inspired by our story, particularly when we tell them we are affectionately known as PB&J. So love that.
so let me,
But I don't
so
know
Trish,
how deep you want me to go in terms of who I am and what my
so
story
Trish, let me
is.
pause you for a second, and then I want you
Yeah.
to go back to the origin story about at work and like how long ago this happened. But because I'm curious, I love the nickname Peanut Butter and Jelly.
Yes.
So what's the origin
PB&J.
of that name? Let's
Yes.
start there.
Okay, all right. So we met at work, our prior employer. So we've always been in the insurance industry, over 25 years in insurance, particularly in employee benefits. And this is an industry that is not traditionally have a lot of I would say Black people, right? And especially not Black women that are in leadership positions. But Courtney and I were like two of the few, right, that were in leadership positions in our role at our prior company, which means that we got tapped for a lot of things relative to diverse market. In that particular time, a lot of organizations were really leaning into diverse market work and what you can do around DE&I. That's when DE&I was popular and it was okay to lean into diversity, equity, and inclusion. And because we were the only two Black women that were of leadership, we were tapped to do everything. And so we found ourselves always working on projects together. That aside, right, we just had an opportunity to get to know each other, get to vibe, learning that we had businesses outside of work. I own an HVAC company and also own a funeral home. And so when you kind of lean into all things entrepreneurship, right, we shared in a lot of those challenges and missions and just bouncing things off of one another. Not to mention, my girl is just, we're fun to just kind of hang out with. So we found
Okay.
ourselves hanging out with each other all the time.
That's
And
true.
so we developed a sisterhood where we talked all the time. We talked every single day. We talked multiple times a day. And it was interesting how uniquely, again, the universe just works. When you open yourself up to opportunity, you just never know where it's going to lead you. And we had opened ourselves up to opportunity and found that this company, and are we naming names? I don't
No, we're
know.
not naming names, but we are saying that, hey, a recruiter called and
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
there you go. Go for that part.
Okay, perfect. So a recruiter called, and because we talk about everything, and when we say we are true BFFs in and outside of work, I just cannot stress enough to women out here that when you find your person, right? And when we worked in corporate A for a very long time. And as Gallup survey asked, like, do you have a best friend at work? Unequivocally, yes.
Yes.
Meet this person inside of work because you spend so much time at work, and look at the beauty and how that transforms and evolves to what happens outside of work. That she's my person that I'm calling, right? All the things happening. So when we both get this call from the recruiter, we talk about everything. So it's like, hey, I got a call from a recruiter. She's like, hold on, I got a call from a recruiter. And it happened to be for the same opportunity in this organization. And because we talk about everything, it was, you know what? They're looking for one particular person in this one role, but we're going to flip this thing on its head
Yep.
because we both were operating in similar parts of the organization, but different disciplines, if you will, right? And so we started talking about, well, how can we strategize this? And how can we definitely, create a story that basically amplifies the strengths of both of us, and convincing this organization that you don't just need one of us, but you need both of us. And here's why you need both of us. And here's how we can accelerate this plan to make sure that speed to market, vision of the future and all the things can be accomplished with both of us. We flipped that thing on its head and we told this organization why they needed both of us, and they took both of us.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's just an amazing story, but you can only do that with someone that you trust, someone that you've developed this sisterhood in this relationship with. And for both of us, we truly have a dynamic where we are cheering each other on. There is no competition between both.
No.
It's how can we learn from one another? Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yes.
Yes,
And
indeed.
how can we make each other better?
Yeah.
And that has been the dynamic of our sisterhood. I am always there for her. She is always there for me. And I don't know, Courtney, we might speak, I don't know, 82 times a day.
82 times a day, probably. It's more than that. Probably
So,
more than that. It's always on speed
Wake
dial.
up in
Courtney,
the
Always.
morning with
I
my good
want you to
morning
add to the
text,
story.
right?
Add your part to the story.
Yeah, so it was definitely like, so for Trish and I, it's like there's no competition. We do talk about everything. Like there should be no reason for competition. Like an opportunity in a space to say, let's join together. Let's talk about the benefits and the strengths that we both bring. And they should take us both. And they did. They were like, okay, this makes sense. Let's take you both.
Yeah.
So, and as I'm listening to, or Trish, I'm listening to you, and then of course I know Courtney, um, and I want to get both of you all's take. I was talking about earlier, just you know, the challenge, and specifically the challenge for Black women. It's a challenge for Black men. Don't get it twisted. Don't mistake it. But I mean, just the numbers that have kind of made it out in the media, it's probably somewhere if near or north of 400,000 Black women since January that have lost jobs. Like talented, brilliant Black women with a track record of success and results, women like yourself. So, in this climate that we are in now, what what's been your secret sauce? How have you all navigated that? And maybe you can share some of that secret recipe sauce in terms of navigating these waters, or maybe taking advantage, because there's one of the phrases that I love is that there's opportunity in chaos.
This
Yeah.
is true.
If you
This is
find
true.
it. So I would love for both of you ladies to speak to that, whoever wants to go first.
I'll start and I'll say that one of the things I keep telling and stressing to individuals is that when there is this chaos, this is an opportunity for change, and change is a fresh start.
I like that.
A change is a fresh start. So, but you're not in this alone. We're all going through this together. So don't be afraid to talk about your feelings. Don't be afraid to talk about your challenges. Don't be afraid to say, hey, look, I'm going through this today. And, I want to make sure, and how can I help you? Or how can I help someone else help me? And Trish and I do that all the time. It could be as simple as, what are you wearing today? It could be as simple as, what does your 401k look like? It can be as hard as, when are you going to retire, girl? Like, it can be all those things, all those different levels, but don't be afraid to share. And in this chaos, in this time, lean on each other. We are our strongest and best weapons of success and turbulence and trials than ever. And I just wish we would talk more across everyone. And it doesn't have to be your sister, it doesn't have to be your best friend. It's okay just to open up to your sister you see in the grocery store. We have to do more of that, especially now.
I love that. Trish, let's get your take on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. One of the things that we talked about that I feel like we as Black people and Black women have an opportunity to do is to share in the spirit of transparency, right? I think us as a community, there's certain things that we just hold our purse strings. We don't want to have this whole spirit of transparency, but the more that we can say, what are your fears? What is it you're looking to do, right? What are you good at? What are you not good at, right? That we create a community of transparency where we can definitely, kind of rally around each other and look for opportunities to help one another, right? I think one of the things that Courtney and I immediately out the gate in our relationship and just in our friendship and our sisterhood is, you know, truly sharing all things, right? And it's just not something that Black people do. You're talking about from salary to,
Right.
like she said, what are your retirement goals, right? Is, hey girl, what was your offer like, right?
Right.
Because we want some kind of spirit of transparency so that we are positioned to be able to go in and have, articulate conversations to say, this is what I'm worth, right? But you don't know what you're worth unless you have something to compare it against. And so that's something that we as a community need to be better about. And also, challenging one another. We challenge each other all the time. I'll be the first to say that Courtney will push me and she will push me to beyond my comfort level to make sure that I am truly reaching my full potential. And likewise, we
Same
don't
thing.
hesitate to call each other out in
In a
love,
heartbeat.
right? And I think that in this environment, it really requires for us to have those conversations. What are you good at? What are you looking for? What does the income look like? Where are your opportunities? How can I help you? And then the biggest thing that we continue to hold each other accountable for is your network.
Yes.
Cannot stress enough how important your network is and making sure that you're leaning into your network. But not only that, this is the time now to corral your friends. Hey, I'm looking for this. Can you help me? Can you assist me here?
I love that.
That is something that, again, my girl is really, really good at. And she pushes me. She pushes me to make sure that I'm finding those opportunities to leverage my network, right? So when you have a circle, you have to make sure that you're looking for those opportunities to call each other out, but then to also amplify this is what you're really good at, right? So what you're good at, I can help you to improve, and what you're good at, you can help me to improve. That's how we make sure that we're really helping one another in our community. And I think that Black women need to look out for those opportunities. For
And
sure.
not let me just say this, Trisha and Courtney, not just Black women, Black people.
Black
Oh,
people.
sure.
And
Yeah.
Definitely.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it a little step further. I think we who lean into humanity,
Mhm.
because we are living in a time to where it's a pretty clear line to me, a line of demarcation. You've got a community that leans into humanity, that
Mhm.
sees our common humanity. I see my humanity in you, you see your humanity in me. And then you have those that lean into the inhumanity and the cruelty and the chaos and the bigotry and the hatred in all of its forms, the racism, the anti-blackness, the anti-everything, you name it, including the misogyny and sexism. So as I'm listening to you all, this last part of the conversation, I'm hearing a sense of community, which is, if we understand, if more of us really understood like our journey and our nature before 1619, like before we got here, back on the continent of Africa, we understood that community was is such an essential part of who we are at our
Yeah.
core, in our DNA. And I think it's amazing the way things happen because of this climate, that many of us are really, and more of us have been doing this than not. Because a lot of times say, well, Black folks don't stick together. No. Maybe the crew you with don't stick together.
Exactly. Exactly. I was
Many
gonna
of us
say
do.
that.
You all are a
Exactly.
perfect example. But
This is true.
we have been forced now because of the climate to expand our community, like you
Mhm.
said, to your network, to
Yeah.
build that network and to to search each other out. Just like Courtney and I found each other at a Black Expo here. So
This is
we
true.
have to be
This is true.
intentional. Which,
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, Trish. That's what you were saying.
that's right.
Maybe you might not use those words, but we have to be intentional with building our network, which is a community. That's all
Yeah.
it is. It's just another
That's
word
right.
for building your community, truly being our brothers and sisters keeper. And there are two things, as you were talking, I wanted to address it and put out there in terms of the fear that I believe, because I've had many conversations, and I'm sure you all have too. A lot of times, collectively, we as a culture, and I'm sure it's a human thing, but I always center, I center the culture in our culture. This is what this show is all about, and we center humanity. But you can't clean your neighbor's house until you make sure your house is clean.
That's right.
There's a fear that if we allow ourselves to be too vulnerable, or if we're too open, people can and have. So some of this hesitancy and reluctance is rooted in real life experience.
Sure.
People will weaponize information and use it against you out of anger or fear or jealousy. And a lot of times that's why, because you were talking about sharing information, about in terms of salary and 401k plan, not because we're trying to be in each other's business, but we're trying to, make sure that, hey, listen, okay, don't let these folks try to lowball you.
Exactly.
This is
exactly.
but it's, and I think we all had either experienced it or we've witnessed it, that people will weaponize. They will weaponize your sense of community and your sense of being open and vulnerable, or maybe just because you have a giving heart and you want to help somebody, people can misuse that and weaponize that.
Right.
I just want you all to speak to that, because I was hearing that, because I know, I think culturally speaking, a lot of times you don't tell people how much money you make, and a lot of that's been passed down from,
It has.
I always
yeah.
say, okay, what's at the root of that? Why,
Yeah.
where did that come from? But and when you break it down, I'm not a psychologist, but a lot of it is people will weaponize it. It can be weaponized.
Yeah.
But I think we have to realize that we've evolved. Like, we have to remember that that's not community anymore. Community now is support.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the things about why Trish and I are such, PB&J is because we support each other through everything, outside of work, inside of work. Like, from a community perspective, she has flown down to Charleston, South Carolina when my mom passed, first thing. Like, because I needed community. Like, that's something where you have to realize that we need to do more of those things. Be there for people, be present, and try to find ways of always being supportive. You can't live in fear. If we live in fear, we won't evolve anymore. And we have to live more in love than fear. And I feel like we should be loving each other, especially more now than ever, and trying to love in each other that people we don't know. I think that's something we've got to try to do more outreaches and more conversations around, how can I help you? How can I support you? And I think that is going to help us continue to evolve and continue to be better. We're stronger together. You talk about this all the time, Geno. We're all we got. Geno
Yes,
always
we
like
all-
his line. We're all we got.
We're all we got, but
All
we
we
all
got.
we need, and we
Yes.
got everything we need when we come together. And I know you all seen it. It's an iconic movie in the culture. The original Soul Food movie.
Yeah.
Big Mama, in the scene when Big Mama was talking about the family coming together, she said, if your fingers like that, you don't have any power. She said, but when you take those fingers and you bring them together, you form a fist. She said, you got a lot of power. And
Yeah.
I love that scene, because that analogy, it is so true. But Courtney, I was pausing you because I thought you said something that was so profound. I want you to say it again about fear, because when I heard that, and I shout out to Tish James, the New York State Attorney General, and she's truly standing in her power. And she said something that was really so profound. And basically, what you said had the same spirit because one of the words that she used, you used. It was about fear. And I saw Tish James on TV, and she talked about, or she said, uh, fear and faith don't exist in the same space.
That's
Mm.
right. That's right. You cannot live in fear. We need to live in love and find a way to come together more than ever. That's just how we have to go forward. We're going to need each other more than ever in these next coming months and next coming years.
Yeah, it's so true. It's
Tish,
so
go ahead. Get your take on that.
Yeah, I know. I just when I think about just historically, right, as Black people, we just have to move past some of the things that historically have kind of put us in a limiting space, right? And I think again to that point, fear, and then also just not sharing. We just don't come from a community where transparency exists. And so I feel like it's interesting as I see this next generation coming up, right? Where their take and their ideology and their position on things is so vastly different from the generation before
Yeah.
us, where certain things and conversations are just taboo. And so it's interesting because Courtney and I find ourselves living in a space where, we're kind of in the middle of that and truly are trying to be change agents where we shift the narrative and we do normalize those types of conversations. So when you talk about sharing of salary and sharing of all the things, those are truly the types of conversations that we need to start normalizing so folks do know like this is my worth and this is what folks are making, and even just changing the trajectory and the transition and the conversations so that we're setting the stage for ultimately when we talk about the things that we deserve, you're not in a position to know what's happening around you if we're hush hush about what's truly happening, right? And so I think there's just so many things that we need to start normalizing in our communities,
Mhm.
all of the things, mental health, the
Yeah.
mental wellness, all of the things that have
Absolutely.
traditionally been taboo in our communities. We are working very, very hard to change the conversation, change the story, change the narrative. But then for Courtney and I, we feel like we have a responsibility, hence calling ourselves PB&J and making sure that people know we are very overt about this, and all of the things that we talk about, we share in all the spaces
Yep.
because we want to be able to normalize like this should be just common day, every single
Yeah.
day behavior. It's not hating, it's not, oh girl, how y'all talking about this? No, how are we ever supposed to rise and elevate, right? As a community and people, if we continue to hold on to these cultural norms that
Yeah.
have systemically held us behind. We're handing folks and giving folks a favor in this community where ultimately we need to break past those barriers. We need to normalize the things that just should routinely be happening within our communities. But in order for folks to feel comfortable in that space, somebody has to model those behaviors.
Yeah.
That's very
So
true.
Yeah.
that's what we do. We know
Yep.
everybody knows we normalize it. We talk to
Talk
everybody
about
about
it.
what our story is. And we tell folks, like, if you're not talking about salary and your expectations, then you're missing out. You're
Yep.
missing the bar, and you need to start talking about those things. You can't have expectation for what it is that you want if you're not going to be vocal about what's happening around you. We need to be in a better position to share.
That's
And
right.
Trish, I want to pull out something that you said, a word you used that I thought was profound for this conversation and this part of the conversation in terms of sharing information like your salary. Because I get it, that's been touchy for so long. But the way you framed it, I think will really cut through. Like some things, just kind of cut through. It's like cut through the BS, the word or the phrase, so you know your worth.
That's right.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, there is never a time. Courtney and I even go as far as what was your rating? What was
Yep.
your bonus? What was
Yep.
that conversation like?
Yep.
We are that
I
transparent.
love it.
Exactly.
Right? We're so transparent that when we are having estate planning
That's
conversations about
yep.
financials, we share the same, wealth manager. We do joint calls together
Yes. Yes.
because we have the same questions. And so we make it easy for our finance guy to be like, look, we're going to have the same questions. So you make
Yeah, that makes his
So we're
job
having it
easy.
one time. One
yes,
time.
yes, yes. But that is the level of transparency that we have because we have curiosity, transparency, right? But ultimately, we both want to win in this thing. So it's coming to the table together. And he now even knows that, okay, if I'm having conversations with Courtney, it's okay to share that same information with Trish because ultimately she gonna ask me the same question. There are no secrets, right? It's about how are we setting each other up for success.
Yeah, I love
These are
that.
nuggets, these are pearls that we're sharing to make sure that we can ultimately meet the goals that we're trying to meet.
And how can you not learn from each other if you're not talking about it?
Yeah.
Like, even especially from, I got to give a plug for life insurance. How are
Yep.
we not talking about life insurance? And then at the end of the day, you're like, wait, I know that person just passed, but did they not talk about life insurance? Did they not talk about a will? Did they not talk about some of the things that they just had heard learned from their parents? Like, that's our problem with our society is not passing on the knowledge that should be passed on
Yeah.
because we're afraid to talk about it. We've
Yeah.
got to get past that. What's your estate looking like? Do you have a will? Do you have a person of death on your bank accounts? Like all the things that I've learned about when people have passed in my family, I've shared that with all of my friends because otherwise, how will we ever learn and how will we ever know?
So let me ask you, ladies. So when this bond and relationship first started, in terms, especially with the transparency and sharing, was it intentional from the beginning, from the door, or was it an evolution?
Gosh, I think it was honestly,
Good question, huh?
yeah,
And
it's a
it's
really
a
good
great
question.
See,
I think
Courtney.
it was,
See,
it was a
Trish,
little
Courtney.
bit, it
See,
stumped me. Like I was like,
I
I
got
got
a
no
little bit
words.
going.
You know,
a great question. I don't know. I feel like we were working on projects
yes,
and we were working on things that I think gave us the opportunity to see like we have a lot of the same
right.
interests, we have a lot of the same values, the same goals, our missions are the same. When we were thinking about areas in our lives where we were personally making
Yes,
impact, right? We were just kind of like, oh my God, she's doing that too. And we talk so much all the time that maybe it was just like a natural evolution that literally it just developed into a natural sisterhood, one where it wasn't forced. It was just kind of
yeah.
like if you brought Trish into a conversation, it was like, where's Courtney?
Yep.
If she wasn't brought in. And if Courtney was invited to a conversation, it was where's Trish? And
Trish.
it just
Yep.
naturally evolved into you're not talking to one without the other. Like know that. And then when
Right.
we speak for each other, this is an opinion, this is perspective that's coming from both of us. We speak on behalf of each other. And that's just kind of where we are even today.
This
And
is
I
very
think
true.
it's an unspoken. Folks know that.
By now they know that. They definitely know that
Yeah.
by now.
So
But
is
I
that?
think, we bonded through, I think, some of the challenges at work though too.
Yeah.
I think that transparency around the challenges we were going through at work, we were definitely in different segments of the job, but working on some joint projects. But in corporate America, Gina, we've talked about in corporate America, it's not the kindest place always for Black women.
Yeah.
So when you find those individuals and those other Black women in your corporate America world, be open and transparent about, hey, here's how I'm feeling about that call. Here's how
Yeah.
I'm feeling about what just happened here. And that can help you from a synergy and joining forces together to say, let's find a way to change this. Let's try to find a way to make this better. Or, should we be open to different opportunities so that we can have a better and a greater impact in the community and society, which is what Trish and I ultimately, truly both want and always wanted.
Absolutely.
So what I'm hearing is that the evolution was organic,
Yes.
and what I'm
Yes.
also hearing is that the foundation was, from what I'm reading as an outsider, is that you all shared a common worldview, shared a similar a sameness of soul and spirit
Yes.
Yes.
that made
Yes.
it just organic. It was just, yeah, it wasn't forced, it wasn't contrived, it wasn't it wasn't even intentional. It was just organic,
It
rooted
just
in
happens.
who you
Yes.
both are as
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
women but as people. Your
That's right.
soul and your spirit and your constitution and what you stand for and what you really believe in, your common humanity and empathy, compassion, all those good things. Having so much of that in common made it a natural fit. But as you all were talking, and I was thinking, so I'm making mental notes in my head because, you know, I always say the best question comes from the last answer.
Mm,
This situation you all have
yeah.
traditionally is not very common, and you ladies know that. You spoke to that. Um, and one of the reasons it's not common, and I know this because I've witnessed it, working in media. I mean, it's been corporate media, which is different than the kind of corporate world you all come from, but it's still, some of the dynamics are the same. A
Hmm.
lot of times you have those in positions of power who will intentionally pit women against each other for a lot of different reasons. And I'm sure you all know that. You
Yeah.
probably had experienced that. So speak to that, navigating that. And how would you recommend to women who may be in a situation like that? How do you navigate that? I hear somebody laughing.
I'm a drink.
The
I'm a
amen
drink. I'm a
corner.
drink to that. I'm a drink to that one.
But here's the thing about that. And again, what I love so much about us is that even as we were going through the process,
Right.
we were so committed and loyal to one another
Yeah.
that we talked going through the process to say, are we doing this and are we doing this together?
Right.
Right? If we are not doing this together, we're not doing this.
Right.
That is how committed and that is how loyal we were to the process. In that finding this particular very unique opportunity, we knew that it aligned with our passion, it aligned with our purpose, it aligned with all of the things. But the secret sauce is us coming in to do it together. That's what we pitched.
Yeah.
That's what we knew in terms of speed to market and the dynamic and the uniqueness of us being able to add that value and actually get things done was not one of us. It was both of us. And so if that opportunity didn't allow for both of us to come in at the exact same time and to really imagine what this could look like together, we were both like, we're good.
We're good.
And you can find somebody else to do it. And
It
that I
was
think
in
is
our
the
strategy, and that's
uniqueness,
our
yes,
yeah.
of
That's our
our sisterhood. And to this day, we are still that united front. There will never be, and they know,
they know. They
a
try.
situation where they can pin one against the other. We finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
We're in meetings, either together or individually. And Courtney could come behind me in a meeting and say the exact same thing, and we've not prepped for this discussion. That is
Nope.
how in lockstep we are with one another. And so there will never be a situation or an environment, particularly here,
Yeah.
where there could be positioning us against one another because they know don't even try it because we're not the ones for that.
Yeah.
Well, I want Courtney to share this, who or whatever story is behind that little cup that she turned up. Because I could I hit a nerve. That was a trigger there, Trish. I don't know. I don't know how much she. Speaking of sharing, but there's a story behind that. It's a story and maybe a name because she like.
I mean,
I got to
in
take
order
a drink
to
on that one.
in order to get to this place though, people have tried. Like you can tell when people are poking the bear. Like, but once you poke the bear enough, you know that we're not that bear you want to continue to poke. And so, Trish is from New York, I'm from the Midwest, but we are sisters.
I
So
love
you
it.
can't poke sisters regardless of what you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. And that's not going to get you what you need anyways. So it's all for naught. So don't do it.
I love it. Well, listen, I just want you ladies to know you got an amen corner. My mother's, because the show is interactive, and I have a chat room, and she just basically just agreeing. It's the amen corner. Said I'm not gonna try to read everything, but um,
But honestly, that's the one thing that we want to be able to get across to Black women and
Yeah.
sisters, right? When you have this dynamic and you have this sisterhood, right? It cannot, no one can penetrate that. And there needs to be more of that. There needs to be more unity, united front. How can I help you? Right?
Right.
Truly positioning yourselves in a way that ultimately at the end of the day it's about how can we help each other elevate through all the things in and outside of work. We talk about everything,
Yeah.
and that's what makes us great,
Yeah.
right? That's what makes us better,
Yeah.
right? I mean, even extension and beyond that. Like everybody knows who Courtney is. Everybody knows what Courtney means to me, right? And then likewise, vice versa.
Yeah.
That's how you create that network and that extension of yourself and that family, right? In terms of elevating to, greater levels of success. And I feel like that's what's missing from Black women and from Black communities in
Yes.
general. So we can be those people that are the mouthpiece to say, y'all need to try. Whenever we tell people our story, they're like, "Well, how did y'all pull that off? I bet you never thought it was possible, right?" But
Hey,
what you don't ask for, you'll never
you never
get.
get.
That's
Yep.
true. Man, you said it again. What you don't ask for, you'll never get.
Never get.
1,000% with you. But yes, Trish and Courtney, it's beautiful. But this lesson between the two you all as Black women, we have to apply this to the community,
Yeah.
That's very
Black
true.
men and women.
That's very true.
And Black
Yeah.
men, we when I say, like Courtney said, one of my main mantras is, especially after November 5th, we are all we got. It's clear now. We're all we got.
Yeah.
That's it.
America has basically told Black folks, here, I'm giving you my ass to kiss. That's just kind of the way
Sure.
America has done that to Black America, corporate America, you name it. So, okay, my thing is, you know what? I really wasn't trying to mess with you either. I'm good. Be clear. Let me know how you feel about me, because the truth is, we're all we got, but we are all we need, and we got everything we need. And the truth is, you all know we got everything you need, which is why that you all have taken advantage of the situation in so many ways that I've gone into it in many monologues. So when we really, really understand and know our power and our power collectively when we come together. But like you said, one of the most important elements is developing that sense of community, which is rooted in trust. Because when you trust people and you know that when you know they have your best interest at heart, and when you
Yes.
know that they want you, because I'm paraphrasing something both of you ladies said, you all want each other to win.
Yes.
100%.
And
Yes.
one winning won't mean the other one loses.
That's
No,
right.
not at all.
No matter how bright Courtney's light is, Courtney's light doesn't dim your light, Trish,
No.
and
Right.
vice versa.
That's
As a
And you
matter
can
of fact,
share
it
the
just makes the
spotlight. You
room
can share the
brighter.
light. You
Yeah.
can share the light. There's enough light to go around. And I
Correct.
think that's one of the things where people continue to try to figure out, like, how can I be better than that other person? Well, no, how can you be better together? I
Right.
think I have learned so much from Trish from an entrepreneurship spirit and an entrepreneurship and business perspective. Our businesses are completely different. But
Mhm.
can I learn from her and all the things that they have gone through and all the things that they have set up? Yes, 100%. But people in our culture, we have to be willing to listen and willing to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Like that's another piece as well.
And
That's right.
and I always say, I say a lot, I know. Trust me, ask the Mirrors and Alley. That was a whole conversation last night. You talk to us like you're on your show. No, I just the way I talk. But there's one thing that nobody can beat you doing, Courtney, and you know what I'm gonna say. Trish, is one thing that nobody can beat you doing, no matter how great these people may be in their respective field, even for each other. There's one thing that Courtney can't beat you doing, Trish, and vice versa. Being the best version of you.
That's right.
So when we focus on, let me be the best version of me, because if you're the best version of me, it's not. Now listen, I had a chance to play pro football and baseball. So competition at the right time, in the right place, in the right arena, applied the right way is great.
Yeah.
But there's a time and a place for everything. Just like as someone that's done media, hosting, performing, emceeing, doing stand-up, there's a time when the lights come on, it's showtime. You perform, you kick ass, you leave the crowd wanting more. When the show is over, it's over.
That's true.
You unplug, you reflect, maybe you look at tape, you do whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can't be all gas all the time and no break.
That's
That's
right.
true. That's very true.
Our body, we have to rest.
Yeah.
Rest is short for restorative. That's how we restore our mind, our body, our soul, and spirit. So, but if we start with just being the best versions of ourselves, being honest with ourselves, holding ourselves accountable, be willing to learn. I heard you ladies talk about that. My grandfather said you can learn something from a little baby. Always be curious, be willing to learn, knowing that no matter how smart you are, you can learn more. As my mother, one of her pearls of wisdom to me was, Jeannie, you can't always be right. It can't always be your way, which was great advice. It was decades ago when she told me that. But you know, listen, we all been in our 20s, especially your early mid-20s. You think you're smarter than everybody on the planet, and sometimes people. Actually, I was probably closer to 30, but she was like, "Okay, look, you can't always be right. You can't always be your way." And it was funny because no one had ever said that to me, and obviously she had the cachet and the trust, because I knew nobody was a bigger fan than my mother. My mother's the one person that's believed in me more than I believed in myself, which is saying a lot. So, but it was like Courtney and Trish. It was like somebody hit a light switch, and when she said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, well, I guess you're right." She said, "How would you want to be around somebody that they were always right, and it always had to be their way?" I was like, "No, I wouldn't like that."
And always be the smartest person in the room. That you'll never learn. Never learn that.
Listen, I want to thank both of you all. And Courtney, I'm so glad to have you back. I know how busy you've been. I'm glad you're feeling better. Thank you, Trish. Listen, you have a permanent place on the show. I'd love to have you come back, and on Fridays I do like guest co-host. So I'd love to have you come back as a guest co-host, because you've got that same $1 million smile, and both of you all got a sense of humor. Obviously well-read, well-versed. But thank you for sharing your stories and setting an example. And I want to say this, that it may seem like you all are an anomaly, but you're not. My thing is, there are so many of us that have the same sense of esprit de corps, the same spirit and soul, especially because the climate that we are in, we realize, Courtney, once again, we are all we got. But when we think about it, we are all we got, but we are all we need, and we got everything we need. I'm calling for a holiday blackout, but my thing is, since you've got this anti-DEI sentiment, I'm like, like I said, I really wasn't trying to F with you. So let's do it. If we're going to do this, then now I go back to my South Side of Chicago roots. Okay, you want to do that? Okay, let's do it. But we're going to do it, we're going to go all the way. So let's anti-DEI everything. Let's start with our money. How about that? Let's pull our money up out of it. Let these retailers really feel it. Ask Target. They found out.
That's right.
That company's valuation, the value of that stock dropped $12 billion in 6-7 months. So since y'all want an anti-DEI, you don't want anything black, fine. Let's start with our money. Let's pull our sons and daughters and nieces and nephews out of the NBA and the NFL and the SEC and the ACC and college football, college basketball, entertainment. Fine. Create our own stuff. So if you want to do this, fine. Are you sure? Be careful. Be careful what you ask for, because you might find out, oh, wait a minute, we didn't know it was going to turn. No. You said you didn't want it. Anti-DEI. Okay. We're good. We're all we got. But we're all we need, and we got everything we need. So that was just my
I got to have Geno, speaking of everything that we need and all we got, and we have everything, I have to let Trish give a shout out to her businesses. That's another piece. Yeah, we got to let her, especially in Chicago. I need in that Chicago area. I need people to hear it. So Trish, give your shout outs definitely for your 2 businesses that I know that you have.
Yeah, so very unique businesses. I would say the second one particularly, right? But the first is CPR Heating and Cooling. So we have an HVAC company. And as you know, Gino, in Chicago, we go from hot to cold. We don't have four seasons here. We just go from hot to cold, which we have done.
Oh,
So
it's
all
not
the
cold. Wait,
furnaces.
Trish, hold on. This is not. We go from summer to fall.
Yeah, you
See,
got
I
this.
growing up in. Come on, you grew up in New York, and that Chicago. You get
I
summer. You get you get winter, spring, summer.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We don't get fall,
Yeah,
right? There is no
Charleston, we
fall.
don't
We
get no
go
real
from
winter. It's
the
barely. It's
80s.
Charleston's winter is
Exactly.
a Chicago fall day.
Listen,
Okay. There,
listen.
yes, I know. Courtney and I have many of conversations. She's like, it's cold. I'm like, girl, no, it's not. It's not cold. It's not cold yet. So yeah, CPR Heating and Cooling, that is our HVAC company. Thank you so much for that. And then interestingly enough, we also own a funeral home. So James Payne's Funeral Service, which is also in Aurora, Illinois. And so we service predominantly Black and Brown communities, which is why, again, so near and dear the work that Courtney and I do, the learnings that we have in this space, speaking about all things financial acumen, the need for education in our communities around the importance of life insurance, getting beyond burial insurance, but using life insurance as an actual wealth building tool. Those are all of the things that are near and dear to us. Can't go without saying the things that I have seen and heard, so tired of the GoFundMe's every single time somebody passes away, or the expectation that the Black funeral home is going to perform a service for free.
No.
I mean, we have overhead and we have the cost of putting your family member in the ground. So we cannot do that, right? And so at the end of the day, there's a lot of education and a lot of knowledge to be shared. We are empowered to be able to do that. And so thank you for the opportunity to be able to share in that. But even more so, thank you for the opportunity to share in the space in Courtney's Corner and to continue to amplify my girl. I'm so proud of her. And I just love this space. And thank you for having me so very
Well,
much.
thank you, but I'm not done with you. Hold on, Courtney.
Oh,
No,
okay.
she's still
I'm not nowhere.
she's co-hosting. She's really co-hosting and producing. Cause I wasn't, I was setting you up. I was giving you all the final thought. But not only since you told us about your HVAC, but we need specifics. We got people looking at the show all over,
Okay.
including Chicago here. So give everybody a phone number, contact phone number.
Yeah.
They can website, social media, whatever contact information. And so the HVAC is located, did you say in Aurora?
Yeah, so we're in the western suburbs
Yeah.
of Chicago. It's www.cprheatingandcooling.com. You got to spell it out, cprheatingandcooling.com.
All
And
one
the
word, right?
all one word,
Okay.
yes. And the phone number is 630-546-1652. So that's commercial, residential, available 365, 24/7. We do not inflate our prices for emergency calls like your standard heating and air conditioning company would do. So if we have to come out on a Saturday, we have to come out on Christmas. We recognize that things happen, right? And again, we primarily service Black and Brown. We'll service anybody who calls us, but that's primarily our customer base. And so, yeah, give us a call. We are really, really, excited to hear from new customers that might be engaging with us.
All right, give us that phone number again, and also give us the website and social media. Does the business have a does it have a social media page, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook? Go ahead, give us all
Yes,
that.
we are actually on both. We are on Facebook and Instagram. Handle is at CPR Heating and Cooling for both Facebook and Instagram at CPR Heating and Cooling. We're also on X, I can't go there, Twitter. Okay. Yeah, at CPR Heating and Cooling on that platform
Right,
as well.
right.
And
Twitter,
again,
whatever they want to call it, Twitter.
exactly, we gonna call it Twitter,
Because we as black folks built it up. It wouldn't be no X if it wasn't for the black folks that was on
Indeed.
Twitter when nobody else was on. That's a whole nother
I'm
story.
saying, Black Twitter,
Yeah.
at CPR Heating and
I
Cooling. Yeah.
love it. So Courtney, do me a favor. Make sure that after the show,
Yes.
Give Trish my information, and Trish, I
Sure.
want you to reach out to me, text me, and everything,
Of course.
because I'm gonna put some people in touch with you. I got a very close friend. I got family, and,
Mhm.
this, and close friends that own buildings and property. So I want to make sure that you are on their radar, just in case they need your services, and also give us the information on the funeral home.
Okay, so that is James Payne's Funeral Service,
How
and
you
that
spell
is
the last name? What is that again?
it's Payne,
Pink.
Payne,
Okay.
James Payne, Payne, Funeral
Okay.
Service.com. And that handle is also at James Payne Funeral Service. That is on Facebook, not Instagram.
Okay.
And I should know that phone number by heart, although I do not. So I can send that to Courtney to pass along to you. You can see where I spend
Well, they can
most
go to
of
your
my
website and get the information. I'm sure
Also good.
there's a
time.
contact page,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
contact information page. And for those, like Trish said, Aurora is west of downtown Chicago, so I'm
Right.
sure you all could service anybody anywhere in the Chicago metro area.
That's right. In the
But
Chicagoland area.
so I'm thinking, so is Aurora? It's kind of is it more northwest? I'm trying to.
It's west. It's the western suburb.
So it's straight 290.
It's straight, yes. 290.
So it is straightway, yes.
88.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to 88. Yeah, yeah. Oak
Yep.
Brook is out that way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oak
yeah.
Brook, Naperville.
Now, okay, past Naperville. Oh, that's right. Past
That's right.
Naperville. Yeah,
That's right.
Because
We
like
service
Arlington
that
Heights,
whole
Hoffman Estates
area.
is more northwest. This is more I thought it was
Well, we
290.
service Hoffman Estates as well. So
Yeah.
that whole entire Chicagoland
That
area.
corridor, west and northwest corridor, yeah. But it's more due west straight, yeah. So folks that live on the west side, or even northwest side. So okay, but
Yep.
all the information once again, the website, and you said the funeral services. What are the social media pages again?
It's jamespayne.com. So at James Payne Funeral Service.
That was Facebook and Twitter or /X.
Just
Facebook.
Facebook for
Just
the
Facebook.
just Facebook for the funeral home.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Trish. So we're looking forward to having you back. All right, Courtney, it's your corner.
Yes.
Courtney, it's her corner. It's her show. She took over today. I love it. All right, my sister. So listen, you got the last word. Today is Courtney's corner day, so you got the last word.
I just want to say thanks to my sister. I love her. And again, I think everyone should live more in love. And I think that'll help us all as we go forward. And hope everyone has a great night.
Well, thank you, ladies. Listen, have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. I don't know if you are either one of you ladies. And in real time, this has popped up in my head. I don't know if you all are going to do a costume, and you've probably thought about it and done it if you do, but I'm like, two things. First thing I thought about was dressing up as like some twins, or better than that, PBJ. So last question. Which one is the peanut butter and which one is the chocolate?
We get that question all the time.
Ask us that all the time.
Good. Now I wasn't gonna let you all get off the show without finding out which was which.
It just depends on the day.
Oh.
It really depends on the day.
I like that.
That's right. But you think about salty and sweet, and so it depends on the day, and that's the great balance that we have with each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's salty and I'm sweet, and sometimes I'm salty and she's sweet, and so we balance each other out.
That would be an award-winning Halloween costume. Peanut butter and jelly. that would. So just something to think about. So thank you, Trish. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Courtney, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you, and more important, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing in what this show stands for, and how I've kind of morphed entertainment and humor with social, political, just social commentary, and just being a platform to empower and enlighten and educate and inspire and uplift our culture and our community specifically, but humanity in general. So thank you, my sister. Have a great weekend, both of you. Also, Courtney, I know we'll see you back soon.
Yes, you will.
She'll be back. She'll be back. Come back, Trish. She's gonna come back running things again. So listen, thank you all so much. And once again, Courtney, more important, just thank you for believing in the show and being a sponsor. That means everything, and you know that. So thank you, ladies. Be blessed.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Good night.
Man,
Bye.
Great conversation. Great show. I really appreciate both of them coming on. All right, listen. Shout out to everybody. Rosalind Anderson. Rosalind, I see you. Great Hustle, I see you in there. Shout out to my mom, my #1 fan. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show Monday through Friday. Now, programming, no live show next Monday. So we'll have a live show. Yes, there'll be a live show Halloween tomorrow. No costume for me. My costume is a black man, a black entrepreneur. How about that? Before it was a black man with a job. Well, not just a job. I'll be dressed up as a black entrepreneur. How about that? Monday through Friday, normal start time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Brought to you by, you just saw Miss Courtney Johnson on camera, her company, CojoLLC.com, CojoLLC.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the Carolinas, South and North Carolina, you can go to her website, CojoLLC.com. Call her. Just saw her, say, hey, I saw you and Trish on the Geno Jones Show. We're looking to buy or sell a home. We live in the Carolinas, and we're thinking about moving to the Carolinas. She's got you. Buy or sell. 843 is the area code, 543-4022, 843 area code, 543-4022. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out on Instagram, on IG, Kelby Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. And Allie Jones is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. You can check her and her Lexi Jones collection out, the birthday girl. So on Sunday, she's got a birthday. So, Sunday you can go to Instagram and wish her happy birthday. It's LX.NCL_. LX.NCL_. Thank you for watching, everybody. So we'll see you live Friday, Halloween, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.